Hello everyone, my name is Anil Poddar. So today I am going to discuss about unit number 1, the software problem and software process, lecture number 8. Now in this video we are going to discuss about time boxing model, advantages and disadvantages of time boxing model. Now in the previous slides we have discussed about waterfall model and rational unified process and iterative model. Now I will go to the next model, that is time boxing model. Now in this model the basic unit of development is a time box. Okay, so as you can see in the diagram, it shows the time boxing model. It's of a fixed duration. Okay, so requirements or features to be built in a time box. So as you can see here, TB1, TB2, TB3 and TB4, there are 4 time boxes. Okay, each time box is divided into sequence of stages. As you can see here, the time box 1, that is TB1, that time box is divided into sequence of stages, that is requirements, build and deploy. So once it is finished, okay, each stage performs some clearly defined task for the iteration and produce a clearly defined output. So each of the stages will produce some output. Now duration of each stage is approximately same. So all the stages, that is requirements, build and deploy, the duration will be almost same. The model requires that there be a dedicated team for each stage. So for each stage there should be a dedicated team. So here is an example. Now consider a time box consists of 3 stages. So there are 3 stages: requirements team, build team and deployment team. So 3 different teams will be needed for this model. The requirement stage is executed by its team of analysts and ends with the prioritized list of requirements to be built in its iteration along with high level design. So the requirements team will do the analysis for TB1. Again it will do the analysis for time boxing model 2, as we have shown in the below in the slide. Requirement analysis for TB3 and requirement analysis for TB4. Okay, so if there are 4 time boxes, it will go on giving the requirements and it will end with the prioritized list of requirements. Now the build team also will be continued. Now you can see the difference. The build for TB1 will be starting from requirement analysis for TB2. Why? Because the requirement analysis for TB1 is already done. So after the requirement analysis done, we build for TB1. Same as that of requirement analysis for TB2. After requirement analysis for TB2, then at the same phase we are building TB1, and after that only we are building TB2. Okay, now the build team develops the code for implementing the requirements and performing the testing. So build team is responsible for developing the code and implementing the requirements, also performing the testing. The tested code is then handed over to the deployment team. So the deployment team, here there are only 3 stages, which performs the pre-deployment test and then installs the system for product use. Now with the time boxes of 3 stages, the project proceeds as follows. Now suppose when the requirement teams have finished the requirement for time box 1, okay, the requirements are given to the build team for building the software. So the build team will try to produce the requirements for TB1. Now the requirement team until then goes on and starts preparing the requirement for time box 2. Okay, at the same time build team will be building the time boxing model for TB1. Now when the time box 1, that is TB1, is completed, that is for the build team, the code will be handed over to the deployment team. Okay, so the deployment team will start the deployment at build for TB2. Now build 2 moves on to the build code for requirements for TB2. Okay, because requirement analysis for TB1 is already handed over and it is over, and the requirements team moves on doing requirements for time boxing 3. So this is how the process goes. Now within the 3 stage time boxes, at most 3 iterations can be concurrently in process. That is, all the 3 teams will be working concurrently at the same time. So if the requirements team is working for uh, analysis for TB3. Then the build team will be working for building for TB2, and deployment team will be working for deployment of time boxing 1. Now if the time box is of size T days, so it takes suppose about T days, then the first software delivery will occur after T days. Okay. Now the subsequent delivery will takes place after every T by 3 days. Okay. For example, if the time box duration T is 9 weeks. Okay. So for 9 weeks the time duration of time boxing duration is there. So the first delivery is made 9 weeks after the start of the project. So always it will be done after the start of the project. Second delivery will be made after 12 weeks. The third delivery will be made after 15 weeks, because the time box duration is 9 weeks. So you have to go on dividing by 3. That is, it takes place after every T by 3 days. Because if you divide 9 by 3, so it will take after the delivery will take after every 3 by 3 days. So first delivery will be made 9 weeks after the start of the project. The second delivery is made after 3 weeks. Third delivery will be made after 15 weeks, and so on. Now the advantage of this model is speeds up the development process and shortens delivery time. It is also well suited to develop project with a number of features in short time period. The disadvantage here is project management becomes more complex. This model requires larger team size to complete the project, because for each of the phase different teams are required. So management as well as larger team size, these are the advantages of this model. So in this video we have discussed about time boxing model, tasks of different teams. Thank you.